Morning, everyone. So this morning I'm wearing green, and I'm wearing green because I'm thinking about something new, and I'd like your opinion. But before I tell you what that is, let's just quickly cover the colours. The green behaviours: thinking, communicating, and improving. Those are the things that are going to take you, your people, and your business upwards if you have them in your diary in the right proportion. Then there's amber: monitoring, directing. Those are the things that are going to maintain status quo, keep things where they are, or manage risk. Then there's red: doing, and brown: floating. And those are the things that if you have them in your diary too much, will likely take you, your people, and your organisation backwards. So this morning I'm thinking about something new. One of the areas that I'm focusing on for this year is getting more and more involved in the flexible working agenda. And to that end, I decided to co-sponsor an event in May in Birmingham called the Flexpo Leaders Summit. And the Flexpo Leaders Summit is for business heads, some of whom have been successful at implementing flexible working in all its guises, but many who have not been successful and want to be part of the conversation. They want to understand what's happening in that arena, they want some new ideas, and they want to be part of the conversation. So whilst I am sponsoring the morning break, I am going to be doing a workshop. And that workshop is going to introduce people for the first time to something that I'm creating, which is called the Diary Detox Flex-Discovery. And the Diary Detox Flex-Discovery is all about addressing the key challenges that any company or any manager who is considering flexible working but is more likely to say no to that request, why that might be, and giving them an insight about how Flex-Discovery could maybe change their perception, to maybe tell them that they are closer than they already think, or if it's a real concern, where that concern is and what they can do about it. So that requires some thinking. So I've taken a room at the Growth Hub today in Cirencester to do some thinking: screen, board, flip chart, etc. And one of the things that caught my eye as I was doing it was this quote over here. Now, it's probably backwards for you, so I do apologise, but I'll read it out to you. And it says, "You sort of start thinking anything's possible if you've got enough nerve." And that's a quote from J.K. Rowling. And that resonates with me because Diary Detox is a rebel brand. It was created because I simply didn't believe that we had to continue to believe that time and having none of it and always working crazy hours was a natural tax on being in business or being successful. And I thought, it's much simpler than this. There's another way. And so the values that I came up with were optimism, that there's another way; challenge, that we should challenge the status quo; and simplicity. Any way we create should be simple. So when you look at flexible working, you might be thinking to yourself, what on earth are you doing in that space? And it's because I believe that flexible working is something that Diary Detox can help with. And I do believe it's a lot more simple to address. It's not easy, but it's a lot more simple to address than we realise. We just need to challenge, and we need to have the optimism that there's another way forward. So one of the keys of the workshop is going to be to address the main concerns that most companies and managers have when considering flexible working, and showing how the Flex-Discovery can potentially alleviate those fears, or at least name them and give more clarity around whether the fear is real in their world. And I have a first cut on what I think the main fears that companies and individuals might be having when they're considering it. I wanted to share them with you, and I wanted your opinion on whether they're right or whether there are more that I've missed. So the first one, I think, is trust. Main concern managers will have is trust in their people, that they will, instead of working correctly, maybe sitting at home with their feet up watching Jerry Springer, well, that's probably not playing anymore, but watching TV or doing anything but working. That's one of the big main factors that I think managers have around rejecting or resisting a four-day week or flexible working in general. That's the first one, trust. The second one is therefore their concern that it will damage business and potentially damage them as a manager. So that's the second one. The third one, I think, that's standing in the way is, interestingly, employees. Now, although some employees want it, there have been a number of flexible working trials that have failed, sometimes to even start, because when surveyed, the employees say, so for example, on a 4-day week, they might say, well, I'm a bit worried that I'm not going to be able to fit 5 days of work into 4 days. And that anxiety can cause the management of the organisation to get a little bit, ooh, maybe we shouldn't do this. We don't want to create more anxiety. And so they will naturally back away from it. So I think that's another big factor that they will be fighting against. And then the last factor, main factor, I think, is the floodgate effect, which is managers might be worried that if they go and approve a flexible working request for one of their people, that everybody will want it. And actually, how am I going to deal with that? How am I going to manage that? Okay, so those I think are the 4 key factors that a Diary Detox Flex-Discovery is going to give a different perspective on. Trust that people will be doing the right thing, that it'll damage business, that employees might get stressed at the thought of it, and that the floodgates will just open. Those I think are the main four concerns. So I'd love your feedback on whether or not they are what you think are the concerns. If there are more, if one of them isn't a concern in your opinion, I'd just love to hear what you say. And this is all about thinking. Okay, so that's it for now. Please comment below, give me your thoughts, and I'd love to hear them. In the meantime, have a great day, have a great week.